because we're really so excited to come together tonight to first build community. The second thing is to imagine possibility. And the third thing is to be a part of building a future
with hope.
Who are you?
Good evening, my name is Bert Yin, and I'm a lay member of Chinese Community United Methodist Church, and one of the truckers that went on the mission trip in 2009. I'm one of the 8, and I'm proud to be up here, Pastor.
Wonderful, it's great to be up here with you. So, Bert went on that very first trip to Kumi, Uganda with a group from CCUMC, but there's a longer history than just 2009, and we look forward to sharing that with you tonight. But I'm curious, are there any folks here who actually have been here for all 3 years that we have had this dinner? Raise your hand.
Raise your hand. Nice and high. Put your hands up high.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. All right, and how about very first timers, newbies, never heard of Youth and Shop? Wow, this is wonderful too.
Here's the important one. How many of you have been here the second time? Raise your hand. Second time.
Wonderful. Thank you each so much for being here tonight, and whether you're here for the first, second, or third time, we welcome you.
We're amazed at the response the community has always given us. A wonderful annual benefit dinner. Tonight we have 24 tables. Did you hear that? Give yourself a big round of applause. 24 tables. Wow. Just keep growing, as you can see.
We want to recognize that because we are a bigger crowd than we were expecting, I want to take a moment and just recognize not everybody has a table that they feel like, wow, these are great seats. I can see everything, I can hear everything. So because of that, I want to take a moment and apologize and thank you for your generous understanding.
We at CCUMC have been changed. Our whole lives have been changed by the journey we've been taking. We've been taking this journey actually for about 15 years. But only recently have we made the journey to Kumi, Uganda to help build the school. And we're going to hear more about that as the story unfolds this evening. We're challenged by the opportunities, but we'll look for them as opportunities to grow our community and grow our relationship with the brothers and sisters in Kumi, Uganda. And we're going to hear some more about that tonight.
I think I have never been able to go myself. I do hope to go one day, but I know that just from hearing stories from folks that have been and the continued communication that we have with folks, that really there is sort of a depth of faith that has blessed us from brothers and sisters in Uganda. That's first, that their faith has blessed us. The second thing is, wow, their conviction and commitment to the most vulnerable in their community is something that challenges us and calls us forward. And so, you were going to say, Bert?
Well, to help us get a little orientation about tonight's dinner, we have a couple of house, and I guess house rules maybe, okay. Just a few things. Pastor already mentioned that we're having our silent auction, which continues, but there's another piece that she'll tell you about in a second.
What am I going to tell them, Bert? Some of you are holding this beautiful blue program in your hands already. That is your guide to this evening, and so I invite you to take a look at it. The words for our songs that we'll be singing will be in there. It'll give you the flow of the evening, as well as just information. Somebody has been asking me much earlier, how do I write my check? Thank you for already being thinking about that. That information is all there in the program. So, but most importantly, and I think right in the middle, is the story of the dream. The dream of Kumi Christian Visionary School, KCVS. And so I hope not only through story sharing tonight and through slides and PowerPoints and all kinds of video, that you'll take a moment to read that story and really take it in. And thanks for letting us share it with you. So without further ado, we want to invite our newest member to our staff at CCUMC, Mainat Ko, who is our Minister of Discipleship, to share the invocation for the evening.
Hi everybody, nice to see you here. I'd like to invite you to pray before we dinner. 请各位兄弟姐妹，我们现在一起来祷告。If you like to, you can bow your head and let's pray. I'll pray in Mandarin. 亲爱的上帝，在这个秋收丰盛、感恩的季节里，我们要向你排列心中的感谢。感谢你赐给我们每一个人生命，让我们可以享受生命中美好的事物。我们人与人之间和谐的关系，自然的美景，动人的音乐，还有丰富的食物，还有生活中无数的惊喜。主啊，我们也为今天的牧盆餐会献上我们的感谢。我们看见这么多愿意以行动传达爱心的兄弟姐妹同聚一堂，这是令我们感到的欢喜，感到鼓舞。是的，我们看见世界上还有无数的人生活在极度的贫困之中，每天的生活费不到美金1元，我们的心真的受到激动。我们真的愿意分享我们的所有，捐献我们部分的金钱来协助在乌干达的这个校舍的建立，让那里的小孩能够得到教育的机会，让他们的生命得以改变。求主你祝福我们乐意的捐献，让它产生大的功效。求你也帮助我们能够常常记得我们从你所得的福分，愿意持续奉献的心志。主啊，求你这个时候祝福我们今天在这里的时间，所有的活动，我们的美食，还有我们彼此之间的交流谈话，都在你的面前蒙你喜悦。我们这样感谢祈求，都是奉主耶稣基督的名求。阿门。Thank you.
So our dinner service will begin, but I do want to just give you a tip. We will be coming back to share the story in a moment, so I hope you'll grab a few bites and then bring your most generous, focused attention back to the story sharers when they come up. Bon appetit!
For everyone. Then I would run to school, then run home to cook lunch, then run back to school, only to come home late afternoon to do the family's laundry by hand and haul more water for cooking dinner and for the family to bathe. Then, with my stomach still growling in hunger, I would serve the dinner to the family and hope there would be enough scraps left over for me to eat in the kitchen. Now, my foster family had children too, who were close to my age, whom I called sister and brother. But, of course, I never had to do the kind of hard work I had to do. We got to eat together in the house, eat the hot, cooked meal, while I would hungrily wait for whatever may or may not be left over in the kitchen. They got to have all the cool school supplies they needed, while I had to do without it. As a young girl, I would keenly feel each and every time my foster parents would treat me unfairly and abuse me in front of their own children. You know, children who get negative messages through the way they are treated by adults in their lives will sooner or later start to believe those messages. That they are unwanted, that they are worthless, that they don't deserve any better. It's hard to overcome external hardships and circumstances in a child's life. And I believe it's even harder to overcome all those negative messages about a child's self-worth that they've internalized and now believe it to be true for themselves.
But the thing that's kept me from giving up during this time in my life were the times of praise and worship. I found not only joy and comfort in the songs of praise and worship at church, but again and again I heard in my heart that I was still a beloved child of God, that my life mattered to God, that there was a hope and a future God had in mind for me. I had loved and still loved praising God as the central passion through thick and thin in my life. The joy of God that bubbles up inside me is uncontainable and infectious. I know that God has given me a particular passion and empathy for children growing up without a mother or father because of my own experiences. And I guess that's why I keep on with YCVM's ministry, even though it's like holding 3 full-time jobs without pay. There is no question that when Silver shared the vision for youth and Child Visionary Ministries to minister to the most vulnerable youth and children in our community, a group of us jumped on board after praying about it, especially me. And now all of you in the U.S. are jumping on board with this vision too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And praise God, who is good all the time. Thank you.
Can we give our young people one more? A big Now, there is one final and very central and key person left. That is a young man by the name of Silver Omakeni, who is the founder and director and the vision bearer of YCVM's vision. Now, I love that word, vision bearer. Such a poetic word, but it describes exactly what he is. It's like a mother carrying a child for 9 months to term and giving birth through all of the pain and the mess and the danger even, and birthing a new life, a source of great hope and joy. And that's what Silver does with this vision. He bears it with all of his being, all of his life. And this is what I heard when he shared his story with me. And in my limited capacity as a monologue writer, I just couldn't do it in 2 minutes, so that's why you're not hearing from Silver as a monologue. But I want to leave you with a song that he wrote in his heart. This was sung to me, we have a recording, you're about to hear it, called Child of Africa. A song that says, Child of Africa, living in a continent of wars, how will it be that you will see the future? And he asks that question over and over and over again. And then he answers it. Responsibility is with us in our hands to make a better future for the child of Africa. And he sang it to me when I was down with malaria in Uganda. He came to visit me and he comforted me with this song, saying, you can go on. God has given these children a hope and a future. So enjoy, and I hope his heart and his passion and this vision comes through in this song.
Child of Africa, living in the continent of wars. How will it be that you see the future? Child of Africa, living in the continent of wars. see the future. Responsibility is in our hands to make a nation a better place for an African child. Responsibility is in our hands to make a nation a better place for an African child.
And today, to these young people who themselves have very little resources to speak of, have risen up to take responsibility. And so, first I jumped in, and then I told my church members and my family members, and they jumped in, and community jumped in, and today all of us are here to jump in and to this vision of providing a hope and a future for this child of Africa. So now we want to move to the section where we talk a little bit about this vision of a school, Kumi Christian Visionary School, and where it's been and where we're going and how you can get involved. So I want to leave you with that and invite Ben to come up and speak. Oh, before that, there's a video presentation that's going to show you a little bit about the school's building progress and where it was as of last year's Kumi benefit dinner. And then Ben will come and update you a little bit.
everyone. My name is Ben Wong. Actually, I'm Barry's husband, among other things. Yeah. And I've been involved in YCVM ever since it got started like 6 or 7 years ago. So I've been to Kumi a couple times, most recently in 2009 with the mission team from CCUMC. We actually got to build part of that church. You saw some of this in the video. We actually got to build that. It was amazing. Now, YCVM has had this dream of this school. Actually, can you go to the next slide? All right. All right, so YCVM has been dreaming of this school ever since they came together as a group 6 or 7 years ago. They were dreaming of a place where children in their community can receive a quality education and lead productive lives. That's kind of their mission statement: lead productive lives and really reach their full potential. You might be wondering why they chose to build a school. So let me say something a little bit about that. I'm sure you know that in Africa there's a lot of poverty and disease, and Uganda, no exception to that. So how's a school how does a school make a difference in people's lives when they're experiencing such poverty? So first off, realize that over half of the population of Uganda is under the age of 15. I don't know if you can imagine that. Basically, half of the people in the country are kind of like children. So there's a lot of these kids running around. You want to know why? It's because a lot of the adults died in civil wars, and some of them from like disease like HIV/AIDS. There's lots of abuse. So what happens is when you have civil wars, the dads in the family, they have to go off to work, so sometimes they get killed, and then you end up with a lot of orphan children, a lot of widows. You probably heard about that, right? Widows and orphans. So that's why, because the dads have to go off to war. So, you heard some of that stories that you used earlier in the program. That's what they've been through. They've been through that. So you've got all these children, and they're trying to get an education. So there are schools in Uganda, but the class sizes are a lot larger than you probably are used to. Around here with class sizes maybe 30, and then you start saying it's getting too big. The average class size in Uganda is 50. And in a remote rural area like Kumi, it's even higher. We went to visit some of those schools. It's like 100 kids in the class sometimes. It's really hard to get a quality education. That many kids in the classroom, the ratio is over 100. So quality of education obviously suffers there. So without an education, what are kids going to do? Like I said, a lot of their parents are missing from the family. So in order to survive, they essentially have to go to work. They have to go to work there. They can farm their land, they can grow their own food, so they can feed themselves. It's basically subsistence living. And then they don't have a chance to go to school. If they have to do that, they don't have an education, so they can't lift themselves out of the cycle of poverty. So that's really the value of education. I ran across some writings from a social worker who actually works in Uganda, and this is what he said about education. He said, education enhances people's thinking ability, improves planning capacity, develops skill in managing and shaping independent life, widens social participation, and empowers people to realize their rights. Empowers people to realize their rights. Without these skills, escaping poverty is highly unlikely. So education is really where it all starts. Also, did you know that education is a cornerstone of the UN's Millennium Development Goals for alleviating poverty in Africa? Education is part of the UN's plan. And the next generation, which is all of these kids, half the population, they are the next generation in Uganda. And unless they're educated, the cycle of poverty just is going to continue. So that's why YCVM dreams of building a school. It's really hope that there's a future for them. I hope that they can escape subsistence living, escape poverty, that they'll have the tools that they need to build a better life. All right, so schools education, you know why it's important. I probably didn't even have to explain that to you. So, why does YCVM need to build its own school? There's a lot of schools like that in Africa and Uganda and Kumi already. So why does YCVM want to build a school? What's going to be different about it? Well, the thing about KCBS, about YCVM running its own school, is that this vision comes from people in the local community. You just heard from Silver, who's the vision bearer, and from Grace among. So these are local community leaders who had the idea for themselves to come up with the school. It's not an idea that the government pushes on them. It's not an idea that the UN pushes on them. It's not an international organization coming in and saying, you guys in the school, here's how we're going to do it, follow our instructions. It's not an idea that came from our church. It's not an idea that came from Aries. No, that was a question that all people get confused. It's not the school's idea, it's not Aries' idea. The school is not my idea. The school comes from the local people, Silver and Grace and the other YCVM volunteers locally through me. So it's really a grassroots type of thing. You know, in my work, you know, ownership is a key motivator, right? When someone comes in and tells you what you need to do for them, it's okay, but if you have ownership of what you're doing, that counts a lot more. And so these folks, it's their own initiative that they're building this school. They're going to run the school. You know, the school is going to benefit the children in their own community. It's going to lift up their own community. So that's why this school is much different. And that's why I think it's going to be a great success. It's a grassroots, it's a locally owned organization. The other reason why KCBS is different is that I think that this vision for the school, this vision actually, the vision for YCVM as a whole, is something that comes from God. And that's pretty powerful. You're getting on board with the vision that's from God. And again, not my idea, not the church's idea, and not the government's idea. It's like God's idea. So YCVM is just responding to this vision from God. So everything that they do in their ministries, the school is just one part of what they do. Everything by vision from God. That's where they take their lead from. That's the foundation of all their school activities. School is just one part of that. Alright, so now you want to know how close is this dream of a school to actually being a reality? Because when people are always asking us, when is it going to open? When are the kids going to be in there? Are they already in school? No, they're not in school yet. The children you heard from earlier, they're sent to other boarding schools in the meantime while KCBS is being built. So what you just saw in the video, it ended right when it ended with the blueprint and you saw the building there. So that was what the school looked like at last year's dinner. And then after last year's dinner, right, we raised some money at that dinner, we sent the money and they did some more construction. So we have a couple of pictures of what that construction looks like. So I don't know if you noticed at the end of the video, the school didn't have any doors and windows. So if you look at this picture up at the top, so now there's windows along this side of the building. And actually in the lower left corner, you can see the school buildings in the background there. And you can see they're building the restrooms, actually. You can see that they're starting to excavate the restrooms. So, and actually, let's go to the next slide. So they also, inside the shell of the building, which is just like bricks. So last year's money put in the floors. This is rocks. Right? This building is built on dirt. They had to put all these rocks on the floor, and then they put concrete, which is on the, you see concrete on the right side. That's what the money went for last year. A little bit more, let's go next slide. So they also put in the roof. You can see the structure in the roof, the ceiling. Sorry, the roof was on before that. The ceiling was put in, the upper pictures there, and then they finished it in the bottom. So the ceiling, the floors, the windows, and the doors. Okay, so that's what last year's benefit dinner accomplished. The funds raised did those four things. So all the people who were here last year, you can give yourselves a hand. This is what happened from last year's dinner. This is what the school looks like right now. So, okay, so that brings us today, right? Today's the third dinner. So, what's the goal for this dinner? You're going to hear about that a little later on. But from a construction standpoint, the goal of this dinner is that not all of the doors and windows are finished. You can't see that because we can't see the whole building. And also, the restrooms which are outside are also unfinished. They have to build restrooms for the boys, the girls, and the staff. So that's the next phase of the project. Finishing materials and the restrooms. And then that'll put us well on the road for them to open doors and classes. So with that in mind, you're going to get a chance a little bit later on the program to be a part of that building, to be a part of finishing the school, to finishing the doors and the windows and the restroom. So stay tuned for that. Thank you very much.
All right. How was your dinner? Are you getting full? A little bit? Starting to? Enjoying your meal? Okay, so this is the 7th inning stretch, if you will. By the way, go Giants! Oh, who said boo? Okay, anyway. This is the 7th inning stretch, and to help our food digest, I'm going to teach you a song, and we're going to sing it in Kiswahili. Now, we sing this each year, so if you have been to any one of the Kumi dinners, then you have sung it before, but if you've never sung in another language, or if you've never sung, try this one out. It'll help your digestion. And we'll get to step even a little bit more into the shoes of our brothers and sisters in Kumi. So, the song, next slide, is called Kanisa Rita Jengwa. Oh, that's a mouthful. So would you repeat after me? Oh, by the way, I was supposed to announce the silent auction is going to close in 5 minutes. So, 5 minutes. Don't you all get up now, because you're going to sing the song. So, can I have the singers come up, please? Okay, Ben, can I have the singers come up, please? Okay, and if you'd like to stand, you can, or if you'd like to be seated, you can, okay? All right, so would you all repeat after me, please? Kanisa. Kanisa. One more time. Kanisa.
Kanisa.
That's better. One last time. Kanisa.
Kanisa.
Lita.
Lita.
Again, Lita.
Lita.
Jengwa.
Jengwa.
Lita Jengwa.
Lita Jengwa.
Lita Jengwa.
Lita Jengwa.
Kanisa.
Kanisa.
Lita Jengwa.
Lita Jengwa.
Excellent. You sound like Swahili speakers already. Okay, so what are we saying? Okay, it says, now who will build the church? The church in the loosest term possible, meaning the kingdom of God. School where people are built up. Who will build the church? Okay? Nanini, nanani. Who? Nanini, nanani. Would you say nanini?
Nanini.
Nanani.
Nanani.
That's who. Okay, so one more time. Kanisa litajengwa.
Kanisa litajengwa.
Nanini, nanani.
Nanini, nanani.
Okay, good. You got it. Now, the second verse is exactly the same. Kanisa litajengwa.
Kanisa litajengwa.
Now, what do you think this means? Na mimi, na wewe.
Mimi na wewe.
So mimi is what? Me, wewe. Yeah, me and you. We'll build the church. Okay, that's what it means. Okay. Kanisa litajengwa.
Kanisa litajengwa.
Na mama, na papa.
Na mama na papa.
Okay, so what does that mean? Mama and Papa will build it together. Okay. Now, kanisa litajengwa.
Kanisa litajengwa.
This is a little bit tricky, so listen carefully. Na watoto.
Na watoto.
Na wazee.
Na wazee.
Again, na watoto.
Na watoto.
Na wazee.
Na wazee.
Okay, so watoto are little children. Watoto. Okay? Watoto. Okay, wazee are what? Elders. Right. So children and elders, it doesn't matter how old or how young we are, we'll build it together. Got it? Okay, now you're ready to sing. Right? You're ready to sing. Okay. There is a refrain that comes, okay, which is called just yo 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 yo. Can you say that? So yo 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 in Uganda, when people get very excited and go hey, they are very happy. We say what? Woohoo or what? Hooray or whatever, right? They say yo 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 yo. Okay, so that's what you're gonna sing for the refrain. Have you got it?
Got it.
If you are too crowded to stand up, that's okay. If you would like to stand up and get some exercise, that's perfectly welcome too, but at the least, I want to see you clapping, okay? So the clap was like this. Forward and clap, and back. Clap, back. Clap, back. Clap, back. Clap, back. Clap, back. Going. Back. Clap, back. Now one last time in English. Oh, who will build the church now? We'll build it together. Oh, who will build the school now? We'll build it together. E-I-O-Yo-Yo, 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 E-I-O.
Wasn't that a fun song? Yeah! And thank you all for being at the silent auction because it is now closed. Thank you very much. Okay, so my name is Donna and I am one of God's children. Let me start by saying a few more things about myself. Chinese Community United Methodist Church, or we like to call it CCUMC, has been a part of my life for 57 years. And after 30 years of working in the Berkeley public school system, I retired 2 years ago. I was mostly an elementary school secretary. And 3 years ago, I was chosen as one of the members of the mission ministry team that went to Kumi, Uganda. Okay, so were you all listening? 57, 30, 2, and 3. So I'll give you a test later. No, not really. Okay. I just want to tell you that my faith journey is good. It's really good. Having CCUMC as my home church, singing praise songs, worshiping as a community, that's all good. Working as a school secretary, that was good too. I met a lot of people in my 30 years. A lot of teachers, staff, parents, and children. Oh, so many children. I just love talking with the children and watching them grow and learn. Now, as a member of the Kumi team back in 2009, well, that was great. My husband and I, we've been traveling a lot the past 12 years in different parts of the world. But this was actually different. It was so much different. You know, we got to stay at a resort. Ooh. But no swimming pool, no spa, no room service. And sometimes there was no water. No water, no shower. No water, no flush in the toilet. And we got to ride on a bus. Got to ride on a bumpy bus that sometimes got stuck in the mud. Now you're thinking, where does the great come in, Donna? Where's the great part of it? Well, remember I said I was chosen as to be part of this team. And you know, it was only after I came back from Uganda that I had time to reflect on the trip. And I realized that God had actually chosen me to be there. You know, I thought that I was going to Uganda to help people. But I was the one being helped. God opened my eyes and my heart to my YCVM brothers and sisters. Their openness to share and their deep and joyful love of God was so inspiring. I felt like a child being led into the wonderful world of God's love. And the children, oh, there were so many children there, always saying, "Hi, how are you?" and waving to us everywhere we went. One time, there were over 700 children, all sitting under and around a mango tree while we shared the story of David and Goliath and songs with them. That was so amazing. I was really consumed by all the children in Uganda. I wanted to connect with them, even though I couldn't speak the language. So I did a lot of hand motions and sounds. when I was sharing with the animals from Noah's Ark. Okay, so now I come back to the U.S. Now I come back to Oakland. I come back to CCUMC. And now what? What is God asking me to do? What do I do now? I don't know. So I prayed. I talked to God. You know, back when I was still working, there would be some children from different countries that would attend the school, and their parents would ask, how much does it cost to go to school? You know, what are the school fees? How much do we pay for the school supplies? But working in a public school, there's no cost. You know, you actually just come to the room, we teach you, and send you home. But in their home country, they have to pay for these things. Going to school in Uganda is not easy or free. To be able to go to school, you have to pay school fees, you have to pay for uniforms, you have to pay for supplies, you have to pay for a bunch of stuff. So can you imagine being an orphan in Uganda, wanting to go to school, but how can you? I want to share with you some verses from Matthew 25 that really spoke to me. I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was homeless, and you gave me a room. I was shivering, and you gave me clothes. I was sick, and you stopped to visit. I was in prison, and you came to me. Master, what are you talking about? When did we ever see you hungry and feed you, thirsty and give you a drink? And when did we ever see you sick or in prison and come to you? Then the Lord said, I'm telling the solemn truth. Whenever you did one of these things to someone overlooked or ignored, that was me. You did it to me. Finally, I heard God speaking. Giving to YCVM for orphan support is what I heard God tell me. Many orphans, they're the ones that are overlooked and ignored. I share with you this evening that this is where the great comes in. And I give for orphan support before the school building with a joyful heart and the love of God. Amen.
Thank you, Donna. You know, I want to say a personal thank you to Donna because she's one of those people that always says yes to me. So in the last week, I think I've asked her for 4 things. And most people would look away and say no. Emily, after 1 or 2, that's enough. But Donna said yes every single time. And so I want to give thanks to her. She's about to go on vacation. We wish her to have a great vacation. You've heard the story of the school and the vision of the school. You've heard, most importantly, I think, about the relationship that came about and that has grown deeper and deeper over the years, that has brought this little church in Chinatown, Oakland, in relationship with a community of people in Kumi, Uganda. Who would have thought of that, right? Who would have thought of that? And I know some people are thinking, what are those Chinese people doing over there, right? Why do they care? But we continue to be inspired by the vision and the dream of this school. So I want to tell you, friends, tonight that we have a really big and bold and audacious goal. We're not messing around, right? We're not playing for pennies. But this year we have an even bigger goal than we had last year, which was $20,000. We met it, by the way. What I want to say is this year we have the goal of raising $24,000 tonight. Right? Now some of you are nodding. Thank you, Lulu, for looking at me and nodding and not being like, what is she talking about? But some of you might be thinking, what? Emily, I have already given all I can to even just be here tonight. And so I want to say thank you. I recognize that so many of you have given already. And the invitation really is to go an extra mile. Right? To go an extra mile to ensure that that shell of the building that you saw does not sit there useless, does not sit there empty, but actually gets filled with the sounds of children, with learning going on, and with something happening in that place. So I want to invite you to take a moment and just consider, am I like Donna being invited into, called into, partnering with friends, brothers and sisters in that faraway place, Kumi, Uganda. People that I may never meet, results that I may never see. And yet am I being invited into responding to? At your tables, buried underneath all those platters of food, is an envelope. And in that envelope has 10 envelopes. And so I want to invite you to take that out and take a look at it, and invite you to dig down deep into your wallets, pull out your checkbooks, and consider. I was told at the beginning of the evening, Emily, this is really convenient. $24,000, 24 tables. As Donna said earlier, you would do the math, right? You would do the math. Now some people are saying, Emily, who carries the checkbook with them anymore? Certainly not I. Wow, friends, I want you to flip to, not that page, but the next to last page in your program. Because thanks to technologically sound and advanced people, there are many ways to give this evening. So if you try to say, oh, Emily, I'm so sorry, I only brought my credit card tonight. No problem, we take credit. Oh, Emily, I'm so sorry. I only have cash, check, or credit. We take it all. And we even take it. Some of you like to carry that iPad mini or iPad around. You can even take out your tablet, your smartphone right now, and go to PayPal. You don't even have to see us to do it. So I want to invite you to just pause for a moment, take out those forms, pass them around so that everybody at your table has one. And another convenient thing is, did everybody get a pen tonight? Yes. You have a pen to write with. Now what's important with that pen is that it's important that you write down your information on the card so that we can acknowledge you. And we'd really like to acknowledge you. Our young people will soon be coming around with baskets. And so again, on behalf of everyone who is involved in this evening, on behalf of Grace Among, Silver Omakeni, Susan Achong, John Oklot, who actually just today, I received an email from Grace that said, we are praying with you and for you even now. I want to say thank you. Thank you for digging down deep and enabling this dream to become reality. I want to invite our lay leaders of CCUMC to come up and share a few words of thanks.
Yeah, I guess I just started doing that. So if you want,
let's be quiet. I'm giving the car away, okay? So you're not quiet. I'm giving your name now, okay? Well, listen now. I'm going to pull the name out of your car. Oh, wait. It's a different thing. Sorry. We really appreciate it. You guys all came out and spent time with us. We know that time is important. So thank you all for coming out.
So we are really privileged to have with us representatives from our sister United Methodist churches. So I want to recognize Buena Vista UMC and Reverend Michael Kiyoshi. East Bay Formosa UMC from Walnut Creek. That's right here. New Vision UMC from Mortar. And San Ramon Valley UMC from Alamo. Thank you so much for coming out. And we also will be willing to come to your area to provide a communication to your congregation. CSF, Pastor for myself, and
we also want to acknowledge two supporting organizations of one is the Chinese American Citizen Alliance. And the Washoe Community Service Organization. So thank you very much for your support.
And then, you know, an event like this doesn't just fall together. It comes because of the hard work of so many people. So we want to thank all the donors to our silent auction. Thank you very much. We will be announcing the winners. And also our crew of volunteers. This is our official volunteer table. You see it's empty. They're all out there working. Our youth, our young adults, and for all the people who help plan our greeters, our welcomers, our seating arrangement person, our reservations, silent auction, village market, just everyone who gave up that time. Yeah. YCVM. Our friends in Africa, you know, we got emails from them today praying for this event to be a success, for people to hear their heartfelt dreams. And so we certainly thank them for praying for us and getting you all here. And again, thank each one of you for coming.
Please drive safely and don't give the vote and give till it hurts. Thank you.
All right, to close our evening together, we've reached way across our annual conference and invited Joanne Lawson. Oh, here we go. Yes. She's the president of United Methodist Women throughout our annual conference and all the churches and fellowships that we have. So we've asked Joanne to bless us and send us forth, after which we'll have Benjamin and Jean let you know who the silent auction winners are.
It is more than a joy for me to be here with you this evening and to say how warm my heart is by the audacity of hope as exemplified by Oakland Community Chinese United Methodist, Oakland Chinese Community United Methodist Church, OCCUMC. Yes, a little small church that has done a huge thing. And I became aware of it in July, just this past July. And I have committed myself to infecting the United Methodist women all across our conference so that they can become as attached as I am becoming to this cause. Now please join me in this sending forth. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon you and grant you peace, both now and forevermore. Amen.
My name is Amon Grace. I am going to sing my song. CCUMC. Oh my soul, do you not know? Have you not heard? It's been told from the beginning. The Lord your God, it's on your side. Oh my soul, don't be afraid. Hope in the Lord. By his righteousness and power, he will strengthen, he will guide. And I will soar wings like eagle, held by the hand of God. I will run and not grow tired. When on his name I call, for the Lord is never word. His ways are beyond my soul, so trust in him with all my heart. Thank you for helping me.